everyone. So I'm Rosa from Pilates Plus Wellness, and I just thought I'd show you some exercises that you can do post-pregnancy and the kind of exercises we do in our mum and baby classes as well. So obviously when you have a baby next to you and you're trying to exercise, we need to multitask a little bit. My baby's now really turned 3 yesterday, so no longer have a little baby, but I've got a dolly to hold on to to demonstrate. So normally during our classes we would be having baby lying next to us or laying in the cot when we're doing the classes, ideally, and they'll either be asleep or laying there quite happily. But if they're not, we either hold them in the sling or we do standing exercises. We do a lot of leg exercises for our mum and baby classes, toning and toning the arms. But for the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you some exercises that are really useful, that's going to help mobilise your back, get that pelvic floor working again, and just stretch out the body. So we get quite tight through the upper back when you're hunched over a lot, feeding baby, and also through the lower back as well, having to put ourselves in those positions that we often find carrying baby, lifting baby from the pram, and so we don't always find we always end up being in positions that you wouldn't normally otherwise be in. So, and that can sometimes put a strain on your back unless it's very strong. That's what I was trying to say. So, let me show you some exercises to help you, and just to help with the lower back. I've got a ball here, just a round soft ball. You can do these exercises without the ball if you prefer. And we've also got some bands. But I'm going to put this underneath the pelvis, so tailbone. And to begin with, I'm just literally going to do some pelvic tilts. So I pull the pelvic floor up as I tilt the pelvis, scoop the abdominals in, and then I tilt the pelvis the other way. So pelvic floor pulls up as I tilt, and then tilt the other way. So I'm thinking of the tummy really hollowing and scooping in, and then release. But at the same time, I'm releasing out through the lower back. I'll put my arms up here so you can see. So this is just really nice to help release through that lower back and the back of the pelvis, but also to practice our pelvic floor engagement as you pull up and release. And it's getting the tummy muscles to actually hollow in, and doing these slower exercises are vital before you go on to do those more kind of advanced exercises that you might well have been used to, or maybe not. So this just feels nice, it eases back pain, works pelvic floor, and flattens the tummy. It's all good. So now from here, what we're going to do is just some pelvic circles. So you can have your arms down by your side, or you can be here. I'm just going to circle the hips around on that ball, just to help release out through that lower back. So you can pull the pelvic floor up as you go to the belly button, and then release the pelvic floor as you go to the tailbone. Pull up, and then release. So you're trying to keep your ribs a little bit, trying to keep as still as you can, trying to keep those knees still, the movement's all in the hips. There's obviously going to be a little bit of movement here and here. So we're going to go the other way. Pelvic floor pull up, pelvic floor release. Pull up, and then release. And just feel your shoulders dropping down into the floor as you do this. Whether you're post-baby or not post-baby, this is just a really nice exercise to do to release your lower back. So now from here, we're going to keep that tailbone heavy. I'm going to place my elbows into the floor. And I'm going to pull up the pelvic floor, the tummy muscles, as I knee fold one knee up. And then I'm going to lower down. And then I'm going to knee fold. Exhale as you knee fold, and you breathe in as you lower down. So when you're doing this, we're trying to keep that pelvis totally still, and we're engaging the abdominals to help stabilize. The last thing you want to do after having a baby is anything with lots of flexion, so sit up type movements. You want to make sure you keep that head down and encourage with your breath and with time to allow those abs to knit together. So when we're knee folding, we're thinking the lower ribs to the hips, tummy scooping in. We exhale as we lift, and you breathe in as you're lowering down. It's kind of like a cross from those lower ribs to the hips. Everything's pulling in, hollowing. So now at later stages, as long as you feel fully healed from that C-section, if you've had a C-section or anything like that, you might need a little bit longer, so post 16 weeks, but of being able to do a double knee fold. Otherwise, you can knee fold one knee up, let your tailbone sink into the floor, and then you knee fold the second leg, and that leg should just float up. We want to keep the tummy flat when we do that. And then from here, you can either have the hands down, or you can be here. You're going to exhale as you toe tap. And then you breathe in as you lift up. So there's no movement in the pelvis. The tummy is staying scooped. And for more of a challenge, your arms could be up here as you progress. Okay, so we would do, say, 8 of these. Now the next progression that you would do will be a double toe tap, but I wouldn't advise that if there's any doming of the abdominals, or obviously if you feel anything in your lower back. So we need to be strong enough in our core to be able to do that double toe tap. So the next phase, once you've got stronger over the months, it could be arms down or here, and you just squeeze through the glutes, the inner thighs, hollow the abs back, double toe tap, and then coming straight back up. So that will be, once we've built that strength with the progressions, and for everybody that's going to be different. So it depends how much you're doing this daily, if you're doing it every day, every 3 times a week, once a week, will depend, and just see in your own body how you go. But listen to your body and just make sure that you focus on the tummy staying flat, the tailbone staying heavy, and your pelvis, we're keeping that neutral. So now from here, so there's some exercises for you with the ball. What we're going to do now, which is really nice to open up the hip, is we're going to lift the heels, and you're going to hollow the abdominals back as you slide one leg away, taking the opposite arm. Think of the ribs flattening down and scoop the abs back. And then we're going to come back. So like starfish, but with a ball underneath. You're going to exhale as you slide the opposite arm and leg away, soften the breastbone, and you breathe in as you come back. So we're doing those heel slides, but we're adding the arm. Just get that nice stretch in the shoulders, but also think of the rib to hip connection. Yeah. So you're not letting the ribs just flare. You can do it without the arms if you prefer, if you really want to focus on here, lengthening. You exhale as you slide, and you breathe in as you come back. Exhale, slide, and breathe in as you come back. 2 more, and the last one, and then we lower down. So let's take that ball away, arms down by your side, have your feet and your knees together. We're going to take the arms out to the side, your palms can face up, and we're going to do hip rolls. So we're in the neutral pelvis and spine. You're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, let one foot stack on top of the other as the hips go over to the side, but you're grounding the shoulder blade down into the floor that you stretch away from. So we breathe in, and then as we come back, think of one rib below the other, wheels back to bring your pelvis and your knees back to center. Breathe in to prepare. And then as we exhale, we let the hips come over to the other side. Your feet stay together, the shoulder blade grounds down. Take a deep breath in. And as you come back, hollow the abdominals, think of one rib below the other, wheeling back to bring the pelvis and the knees to centre. I'm just going to show you this at a different angle, just to make sure you can see it. I'll move the dolly. Feet and knees together. You can hip roll here. Use the abdominals as you come back, and then hip roll. So this feels really nice through the lower back, through the hips. Come back in. And you can do, say, as many as you like, whatever feels good for you. It also really helps us get that closure of the abdominals. So for diastasis recti, it's a really good exercise for that. And just to really encourage the abs to close back together again. What we're going to do, another exercise. So if baby is not very happy, you can always hold baby as you're doing this, or hold dolly. I'm just going to assume mine's sleeping. So we can do this with the ball, place it between the knees. Helps you get that inner thigh connection. So we're going to place the hands underneath the knees. We're going to sit tall. So we're going to breathe in. As we breathe out, I'm just going to tuck from the pelvis and scoop the abdominals, hollow them back, making a C shape in the spine. And I'm pulling up the pelvic floor, squeeze the ball as I do that. And then I'm going to rock over those sit bones and then lengthen tall. So I'm going to breathe in. As I breathe out, I'm going to pull up the pelvic floor, make a C shape in the spine. So I'm trying to flex from here, but I'm keeping that upper back forwards and relaxing the shoulders and trying to scoop the lower abs back. Squeeze. And then I'm going to come forward. And again, so I'm going to exhale, squeeze, pull up pelvic floor, squeeze the ball. And release the pelvic floor as I rock over those sit bones, lengthening up. And again, hollow the abdominals, exhale as I go back, hollow the abs. And then rocking over the sit bones, lengthen up. And again, so you can do as many as these, so maybe up to 16 or whatever you have time for. This helps to reconnect with those abdominals, getting the pelvic floor and the connection with the inner thighs. So it's really good to use that ball. You could use a cushion if you're at home. And it just helps to reconnect with the abdominals really. And again, hollow the abdominals, squeeze. And then bring the knees back up. Good. Now I'm going to show you just two exercises which are great. So there's some core work you can do, and some exercises that you can do that will really help to ease the back pain or any tension, just to mobilise your spine. It's just a simple catch stretch. So knees directly underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. You're going to breathe in. As you breathe out, feel the tummy pull up into your spine first. That initiates the movement, and then I'm going to flex through the lower back, the mid, the upper, the neck, the head. Take a deep breath in. And then we exhale as we lengthen. Release the pelvic floor. So we breathe in to prepare. Pelvic floor pulls up, tummy hollows in. We exhale to move. Breathe in. And we exhale to lengthen the head and tailbone. Again, breathe in. And we exhale to move. Pelvic floor's pulling up. Breathe in. And exhale to lengthen out. And again. So this is just really good to focus on that sequential movement in your spine. One vertebra after the other. It's like a rippling effect as you go into that C shape in the spine. And then we lengthen. So now we're going to go into thread the needle. So from here, I'm going to bend the supporting arm. I'm going to put my forearm on the floor and I twist the head, the neck, the ribs, and then I thread that arm through. and then I'm going to come back up. So I breathe in, and as I exhale, my hips will go up to the ceiling, and I just twist the head, the neck, the ribs, thread the arm through. Feel the stretch, it feels really nice across the upper back, or wherever you might feel tightness in your spine. So I'm going to bend the supporting arm and I twist this side of the ribs away from that bent elbow and thread the arm through, stretch, and then I come back up. I shade from this position here, bend the supporting arm, thread the arm through. So your head and your hips stay in the midline and everything is just rotating around that mid-axis. Head, neck, ribs. And then coming back up. And let's just do one more this way again to each side. And last one. And coming back up. And then you sit back and you can stretch. So these are just a few demos of exercises that you can do post-pregnancy. They're great for the rehab, and we want to do things slowly and precisely to make sure you're doing them correctly. So we've got our mum and baby class in Balham at 11:30, which we're running. We also do home sessions as well, but this is just a little video just to introduce you to some exercises you can do in your home, because sometimes obviously when you've got a baby it's actually quite difficult to be able to come out to a class